Maria's fingers trembled as she gripped her daughter's hand tighter, willing herself invisible in the corner booth of the diner. The lunch rush swirled around them, clinking plates, bursts of laughter, the sizzle of the grill, but all she could focus on was the half-empty wallet in her purse and the $7 inside. $7 between them and nothing. $7 that had to stretch until Friday, 3 days away, when her paycheck would finally clear. She had promised Emma breakfast, just toast and eggs, something warm to fill her little belly before school. But now, sitting here surrounded by the smells of bacon and fresh coffee, watching her daughter's hollow eyes track every plate that passed their table, Maria felt like the worst mother in the world. The waitress approached with that practiced smile, pen poised over her notepad. "What can I get you ladies this morning?" Maria's throat tightened. She ordered water for both of them and a single order of toast, her voice barely above a whisper. The shame burned hot in her cheeks as the waitress's smile faltered for just a moment, before she nodded and walked away. Emma, only 6 years old with her mother's dark eyes and tangled brown hair, didn't complain. She never did. That somehow made it worse. 2 booths away, Thomas Chen had been watching. He hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but something about the mother's hunched shoulders and the way she avoided eye contact had caught his attention. He was a regular here, stopping by Murphy's Diner every Thursday morning before heading to his construction site. The Denver winter had been brutal this year, but work was steady, and he was grateful. His own childhood had been marked by hungry days, by his immigrant parents working 3 jobs between them, by the kindness of strangers who had seen their struggle and helped, without being asked. When his breakfast arrived, 2 eggs over easy, hash browns, bacon, sausage, and a stack of pancakes, he couldn't help but notice the little girl's gaze. Emma was trying so hard to be good, to sit still with her hands folded on the table, but her eyes betrayed her. They locked onto his plate with an intensity that made his heart crack. She watched each bite he took as if memorizing it, her small throat moving in a swallow when he cut into the pancakes and syrup, dripped down the sides. Thomas set down his fork. He'd lost his appetite. The toast arrived at Maria's table, 2 thin slices, barely enough to quiet a child's hunger. Maria split them carefully, giving Emma the larger piece, taking only a few bites of her own, before wrapping the rest in a napkin for later. They both knew there wouldn't be a later, that this was it until the free lunch at school. Maria glanced at her watch. They had 20 minutes before the bus came. She pulled out the $7, counted out enough for the toast and water, and left it on the table with a $1 tip she couldn't afford but couldn't not leave. The waitress had been kind. Everyone deserved kindness. "Come on, sweetheart," Maria whispered, gathering their things. They would leave quietly, slip out before anyone noticed how little they'd ordered, before anyone could see the shame written across her face. She helped Emma with her backpack, smoothing down her daughter's hair, wishing she could give her everything, wishing she could be enough. But as they stood to leave, Emma's eyes drifted one last time to the man's plate in the booth nearby. The longing there was so raw, so honest, that Thomas felt it like a physical thing. He made his decision in an instant. "Excuse me," Thomas called out, his voice gentle but carrying across the diner. Maria froze, her hand still holding Emma's. She turned slowly, dread pooling in her stomach. Had they done something wrong? Was he going to say something about Emma staring? She opened her mouth to apologize. But Thomas was already sliding out of his booth, his plate in hand. "I'm so sorry," he said, and Maria braced herself. "But I've got to get to work, and I ordered way too much food. I hate to waste it, and I wondered—" He looked down at Emma, his expression so kind it made Maria's eyes sting. "Would you be willing to help me out? I feel terrible throwing all this away." The diner seemed to quiet around them. Maria's pride wrestled with her daughter's need, and for a long moment she couldn't speak. She knew what he was doing. She knew this wasn't about waste or hurry. This stranger had seen them, really seen them, and instead of looking away like most people did, he was offering them dignity wrapped in a lie that let her accept. Maria's voice cracked. "That's very kind, but we couldn't—" "Please," Thomas interrupted softly. "It would really help me out. And besides," he knelt down to Emma's level, his weathered hands still holding the plate. "I heard you're a pancake expert, and I need someone to tell me if these are as good as they smell." I barely touched them. Emma looked up at her mother with those two old eyes that had seen too much struggle for 6 years. "Mama," she whispered. Maria felt the tears coming and couldn't stop them. She nodded, unable to trust her voice. Thomas carefully set the plate at their booth, the one they'd been trying to leave, and pulled out his wallet. He caught the waitress's attention. "Sarah, can you bring some chocolate milk for the little one? And whatever the lady would like to drink. Add it to my bill, please." Before Maria could protest, he added, "And maybe another order of those pancakes? To go? Kid's mom might want some for later." "Sir, you don't have to—" Maria started, but Thomas held up his hand. "My mom used to work 2 jobs," he said quietly so only she could hear. "I remember what it looked like when she thought no one was watching. The way she'd pretend she wasn't hungry, save every bite for me and my sister. Someone helped us once, a neighbor who'd leave groceries on our doorstep. My mom never knew who. She just knew someone had seen us, and they cared." His eyes met Maria's. And there was no pity there, only understanding. "Let me be that someone today." Maria's carefully constructed composure shattered. She covered her mouth with her hand, trying to hold back the sob, but it escaped anyway. Emma wrapped her arms around her mother's waist. Confused but sensing the emotion, Thomas squeezed Maria's shoulder briefly, a gesture of solidarity before stepping back. "Enjoy the breakfast," he said simply, then headed to the register to pay. But he wasn't done. While settling his bill, he quietly added a $100 gift card for the diner and asked Sarah to give it to the woman and her daughter after he left. "Tell them it's from a friend," he said. "Someone who's been where they are." As Thomas walked out into the cold Denver morning, he didn't look back. He didn't need thanks or recognition. He just needed to know that a little girl would go to school with a full stomach, that a struggling mother would have one less thing to worry about, even if just for a day. Inside, Emma was eating pancakes with syrup running down her chin, and for the first time in weeks, Maria saw her smile, a real smile, bright and pure and childlike. When Sarah brought the gift card, Maria broke down completely, and the older waitress sat beside her, rubbing her back while Emma ate. "There are still good people," Sarah murmured. "You're going to be okay." That night, after Emma was asleep, Maria sat at their tiny kitchen table and cried, not from despair this time, but from relief and gratitude and the overwhelming knowledge that someone had seen her, struggle, and chosen to help. The gift card would mean groceries, would mean Emma wouldn't go hungry, would mean she could breathe for just a moment. She made a promise to herself then, in the darkness of their small apartment. When things got better, and they would get better, she would be the one leaving. Groceries on doorsteps. She would be the eyes that saw, the hands that helped, the stranger who cared. Because that's how kindness works. It ripples outward, one breakfast at a time, one hungry child at a time, one struggling parent at a time. Thomas had given them more than food that morning. He'd given them hope, dignity, and the reminder that they weren't alone in their struggle. And sometimes that's everything.